This is Smart Poker Study episode 169, Smarter Goals and Developing Good Habits. Because you listened to last week's episode number 168, I trust that you're sleeping better, you're eating healthier, you're moving a bit more, and you're working on developing your mind. Alrighty, it's poker study time, y'all. It's beginning to feel like Christmas. Thank you so much for the gift of tuning in and telling your poker-playing compadres about this show. And of course, keep spreading the word, please. And man, I just watched the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead, and I have to admit, the show is becoming just a little tiresome. I'm sure I'll finish out this season, but I'm really not sure if I'll come back for season 9. I'm just getting tired of characters making, illogical decisions. They're attacking the compound and they're not finishing the job. They're not getting enough info from their inside man named Dwight, and they're unnecessarily putting themselves in dangerous spots. The acting is still great, though, and I still love the characters, the costumes, the set design, and the zombies. But the directors are also trying too hard for drama with slow lingering shots on faces. They're forcing synth music in because it's popular right now probably. And the gunfights that they have, and this season has seen a ton of gunfights, they just don't really feel like gunfights because people aren't getting shot. I mean, they could shoot zombies in the head from 20 feet, 30 feet away easily, but when they've got automatic rifles and it's, a full 10 or 20 people versus 20 people, no one's getting shot. So things are getting just a little bit disappointing. Don't know how much longer I'll stick with that. But you know what isn't disappointing? Your support on Patreon. Now that warms the cockles of my heart this holiday season. Every week, new poker people are supporting the show, and I love you for it. And month after month, they're continuing that support. I want to give a big thanks this week to my newest patrons, Andrew Markham and Josh Banks. Thank you both so very much. I love doing the show, and the time I spend putting it together is supported largely by everyone on Patreon, and I truly appreciate that. Your support shows me that you want the show to continue on if you're enjoying what I'm doing. So if you would like to support, go to Patreon, that's patreon.com/smartpokerstudy. There are different levels of support with different rewards attached. And December's rewards are coming out this week. So all of my supporters have a new patron-only podcast and training video on the way. So visit patreon.com/smartpokerstudy to start your support. Alrighty, let's get to it! We are talking smarter goals and habits in this 5th class of the Poker Mindset MED. So please visit the show notes page for everything I discussed today, along with screenshots and links at www.smartpokerstudy.com/pod169. Cool beans, let's do this. Gambate!
This is damn exciting stuff.
So with 2018 almost here, many of us think about our resolutions for the new year. And resolutions are something that I stopped doing a long time ago, maybe 3 years ago now. The reason is most people only attain their New Year's resolution 8% of the time. That's less than 1 out of 10. And I'm probably right around there. But I achieve goals so much more frequently. So this podcast, it's not about resolutions for the new year, but instead we're talking about goals, and in fact, smarter goals today. Here's one of my favorite quotes about setting goals. Set your goals high and don't stop till you get there. And that's from Bo Jackson. So the last 2 years, I created SMART goals, and I discussed those in episodes 2 and 121. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. But I recently learned of a new way to make goals, a new formula called the Smarter Goals. I got this from Michael Hyatt. He's a best-selling author of books like Your Best Year Ever and Living Forward. And this guy really knows his stuff. So just like SMART, SMARTER is also an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, actionable, risky, time-keyed, exciting, and relevant. So let's get to each of those right now. First off, smarter goals are specific. So a specific goal is made very clearly and says exactly what you're shooting for. Here's an example of a bad goal. I am going to move up in stakes. But here's a smarter goal. Play consistently at 50 NL by April 1st. Next, smarter goals are measurable. Measurable means that we can assign a quantifiable and trackable number. Measurable goals are better because you either hit them or you don't. The numbers just don't lie. Here's a bad goal example. I am going to increase my bankroll this year. Here's the smarter goal. Increase my bankroll by 20% to $6,000 this year. Next, smarter goals are actionable. Actionable means that your goals begin with an action word, not what you want to be. Here's a bad goal. I will learn more from podcasts. Here's the smarter goal. Listen to one podcast per day, take notes, and put into action one thing from each podcast. Next, smarter goals are risky. Risky goals are hard to hit because they push you beyond what you've done in the past. Hard to hit goals command more of your attention. They force you to get creative, to focus more, and to put forth so much more effort. These goals take you out of your comfort zone and put you into your discomfort zone, which is where all of the magic happens. The discomfort zone pushes you beyond the limits of what you know you're capable of, but you don't want to get into the delusional zone. This is my mistake from the past. I used to make goals of playing 300,000 or 400,000 hands in a year, when in the prior year, I played less than 100,000 hands. So a risky discomfort zone goal for me might be 150 or even 200,000 hands, with 300 and 400,000 being in the delusional zone. So here's a bad goal example. I will play more hands than the 2,000 hands per week I'm playing now. Here's the smarter goal. Play 600 hands each day, Monday through Friday, with weekends available to get me to 4,000 hands or more per week. Next up, smarter goals are time keyed. This means that you give yourself either a deadline or a specific time frame to achieve the goal. Here's a bad goal. I will create my poker vlog this year. Here's the smarter goal. Record, edit, and post 13 episodes of my new vlog called Vlogging the Dolphin once per week starting January 1st. Next, smarter goals are exciting. You want to set goals that you're pumped to achieve and that you have an internal drive towards. These are goals set around things that you just love to do, and maybe you can't see yourself doing anything else. Here's a bad goal example. I will play in a high buy-in local tournament this year. Here's the smarter goal. Play the $5,000 PLO at the 2018 WSOP. Finally, smarter goals are relevant. Being relevant means that they fit in with the season of life that you're in currently. So I have a wife and 2 kids to support. Deciding to go off and become a traveling tournament grinder just is not in the cards for me right now. What I can do instead that fits in with where my life is to grind all the nightly tournaments, maybe every Monday and Tuesday night online, and every Sunday as well. Here's a bad goal. I will study every day for 1 hour. But you make this commitment with 2 kids, a job, other outside commitments, and other hobbies as well. But here's the smarter goal. Study 30 minutes Monday through Friday by waking up 45 minutes earlier than the kids do. So you're going to be setting goals, of course, for poker and for life and everything. Occasionally, we just don't hit our goals. What do you do if you actually fail at hitting your goal? The biggest reasons these failures happen is because they're risky and time-keyed. But also, another reason for failure is maybe you were excited about the goal at first, but once you got started on it, maybe 30 days, maybe even 10 days in, you realized it wasn't what you wanted. So your job, once you fail to hit a goal, is threefold. Part 1, don't beat yourself up. Accept the failure as part of the growing process. Part 2, answer this simple question. Why did I fail? Your answer here is your lesson learned. Make different choices next time and do not repeat the actions that led to failure. And Part 3, decide if it's worthwhile to rededicate yourself to this goal. Are you still excited over it? Is it something worth striving for? If so, set a new goal and commit to it again. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/smartpokerstudy. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can listen on your iPhone, your Android phone, your Kindle, your MP3 player, direct through your computer, however you want. And of course, my biggest recommendations, How to Study Poker Volumes 1 and 2. So visit audibletrial.com/smartpokerstudy to get your free trial and to get your first free audiobook download. 2 shout outs today. Once again, my smart HUD is so freaking popular, it seems. Jack Benj and WM purchased it this past week. Thank you guys so much for buying it. I hope those videos that I sent you really help you to get the most out of Poker Tracker, as well as the smart HUD. Good luck out there. And German Rincon, I talked about him last week, purchased a webinar last week. He purchased another webinar, the Poker Mathematics webinar. By doing so through the show notes last week, he got $5 off of this webinar. So visit the show notes for links to the various webinars. Alrighty, back to class, poker people. It is time to talk habits. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." So we talked about creating smarter goals, and I'm sure you're going to be making some of those goals soon. But how are you going to achieve those goals? Goals aren't accidentally hit. It takes intentionality and action to achieve the goals. Those two things are related to the habits that we have, and good habits help you achieve goals. They are the driving force behind great achievements, and you must utilize them to achieve those goals. Habits are routines that we do on a regular basis that we feel compelled to do on a subconscious level. There are bad habits like smoking, eating too much sugar, and staying up far too late every night. And there are good habits like exercise, drinking a daily green smoothie, and studying poker every day. So how do we create good habits? There's a simple 3-step process. It's simple, might not be easy to do and accomplish, but it is simple. Step 1, decide on a habit that will help you achieve your goal. Step 2, schedule the habit into your daily routine. For example, 10 a.m. every day you'll meditate, maybe 5:30 every morning you'll study, or maybe 9:30 at night after the kids hit the sack you'll watch a training video. And step 3, track the habit-forming actions over 66 days. This is how long, on average, it takes to develop a habit. So go to the show notes page and download the 66-day challenge tracker right from there to get started. Let's look at a couple examples real quick. The first example habit is a daily writing habit. So as I said in the last podcast, I'm currently writing my 3rd book that might end up being 50,000 words or so. What kind of habit can I work to develop right now that will help me achieve my 50,000 word book? I think the habit of daily writing would be most helpful. If I write 500 words per day, then it's only going to take 100 days to hit 50,000 words. That means in just over 3 months, bam, my book is complete. The first draft is ready for review. The second example habit is a daily poker play and study habit. Let's say there are 2 magical poker numbers that lead to mastery of our beloved game. The first is 5,000 hours playing poker. The second is 2,500 hours studying poker. 2 great habits to develop to get to these magical numbers are 2 hours of play per day and 1 hour of study per day. If these were your habits, you'd hit these numbers after 2,500 days. That does sound like a long time, but it's less than 7 years. Raise your hand if you've been playing 7 years or more. My guess is that most of you have your hands raised right now. Well, if you had the habit of 2 hours of play per day and 1 hour of study per day for the past 7 years, you would already be, right now, a poker master. So the sooner you get started developing habits, the sooner you'll become what you want to become. While good habits help you achieve your goals, bad habits can break you and lead to goal failure. So how do we break bad habits? Step 1 is identify the bad habit. For example, maybe you're drinking 3 beers every single night. Step 2, understand how it's detrimental to achieving your goals. Maybe drinking those 3 beers takes away time from your family. Maybe drinking those 3 beers makes you tired, you're not able to study, and you're not able to play good poker at night. Step 3 is identify the trigger for the bad habit. Maybe you're drinking those 3 beers every night because you freaking hate your job and it's the only way you know how to unwind from the crappy day you just had. Step 4 is identify the routine that it falls into. Maybe your routine is you come home every night at 5:30. You change into your pajamas, you grab the beer from the fridge, head to the couch, and start watching Netflix. If you know that's the routine that always begins your 3 beers every single night, you can take steps to change that routine. Instead of coming home at 5:30, head to the gym instead. Step 5 is identify the reward that you gain from this habit. You're drinking those 3 beers every night for a reason. What are you getting out of it? Try to find a different way to get that reward. And step 6, consciously choose a different behavior. Habits are tough to break, and you need to be understanding when you revert back to your old ways. Be kind to yourself when this happens, and don't chastise yourself. Just recognize your mistake and bring your focus back to what you need to be doing. Maybe try to adopt a new, healthier habit to replace the bad one. Alright, so let's get into some habits that we could adopt for those smarter goal examples that we already discussed. Smarter started with specific, and that specific goal example I talked about earlier was moving up in stakes. A smarter habit to adopt would be bankroll management. This could be playing it 40 times your buy-in, 50, 100, or even 200 times. The level you choose is up to you, but once you've chosen the level, commit to it. And a bad habit to break is jumping up in stakes to try and win it back. The measurable goal example was increasing your bankroll. So the smarter habit to adopt is to not withdraw money. Keep it in your roll and keep it building until you hit your goal. The bad habit to break? Withdrawing money to buy frivolous things. The actionable goal example was learning from podcasts. So a smarter habit to adopt is to always listen with a notepad and a pen right there next to you, whether it's at your desk, on the couch, or going for a walk. The bad habit to break is listening while doing the dishes or another activity where your hands aren't free. The risky goal example was playing at least 4,000 hands per week. A smarter habit to adopt is to plan your play schedule at the beginning of the week and block the time on your calendar. A bad habit to break is nightly Netflix binging. The time-keyed goal example was starting your own poker vlog. So a smarter habit you can adopt is schedule your weekly video creation. For example, Idea Monday and keep a list of ideas, record Tuesday, edit Wednesday, and then post on Thursday. This schedule keeps you busy Monday through Friday and frees up your weekends for play and study. And a bad habit to break? Procrastination. The exciting goal example was playing in a big buy-in tournament at the WSOP. A smarter habit to adopt would be to save $5,000 over the next 30 weeks by saving $167 per week. A bad habit to break? The habit of never saving, and maybe the habit of living paycheck to paycheck. The relevant goal example was studying every morning. So a smarter habit to adopt? Commit to waking up 45 minutes earlier than you do now. And a bad habit to break? Not having a sleep schedule and going to bed at different times every night. Challenge! Here's my challenge to you for this episode. Take the time to draft 3 smarter goals for yourself right now. They can be poker or life-related. Make sure to run them through the smarter filter. Are they specific, measurable, actionable, risky, time-keyed, exciting, and relevant? If the goals that you set fit all of these 7 criteria, then you are good to go to attempt achieving that goal. Also, work to add any habits to your life that help you achieve them. Now it's your turn to take action and do something positive for your poker game.
Oh, that's it now. Get out there and be somebody. Go write a book.
This episode isn't complete until you go to the show notes page at www.smartpokerstudy.com/pod169. Go there for screenshots, the 66-day challenge tracker, and links to everything discussed today. Thank you so much for listening today. Have you enabled my Alexa flash briefing skill yet? It allows you to play the latest podcast episode every morning as you brush your teeth or make your breakfast. Just search for Smart Poker Study in the Amazon Alexa store. After you test it out, please leave a 5-star review. If you can type the word Smart Poker Study, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now on Share My Pair. You can be a part of the Smart Poker Study group on the Share My Pair app by setting it in the settings menu and post hands with the special Smart Poker Study table skin. And if you've got questions, I've got answers. Send me an email to sky@smartpokerstudy.com. Speaking of questions and answers, next week in episode 170 will be a 3-question Q&A. I know that one of the questions will cover the relationship between VPIP and PFR. The other 2? Not sure yet, but if you send me an email, it might be yours. Word of mouth is the best advertising, so thank you very much for sharing this show with other poker people. Your sharing and caring is what helps us grow. Until next time, study smart, play much, and make your next session the best one yet.